You ever have that feeling that you're kind of a walking contradiction? Like you're absolutely a part of the natural world, but at the same time, you feel completely separate from it all. Well, if you have, you're not alone. According to the amazing psychoanalyst Erich Fromm, that feeling isn't just you, it's the very definition of being human. So let's get into what he called the human dilemma. So this quote right here, this is basically the starting point for everything Fromm believed about us. He saw humanity at this totally unique crossroads in evolution. Let's really break down what he's getting at, because honestly, this is the key that unlocks his entire philosophy. And here it is, laid out plain and simple, the two sides of the human coin. On one side, we've got minimal instinct. A tiger doesn't sit around wondering if it should hunt. It just does. It's programmed. We, on the other hand, we just don't have that strong built-in programming. But then you have the other side, a maximal brain. We've got this incredible, superpowered capacity for self-awareness, for reason, for imagination. And that combination, you won't find it anywhere else in nature. So what happens when you put those two things together? Almost no instincts, but a giant brain. Well, you get something strange. And it led Fromm to a pretty startling conclusion. He called us the freaks of nature. Now, that sounds harsh, right? But it's not meant as an insult. It's a description of our bizarre and one-of-a-kind place in the universe. I mean, think about it. We're animals. We're born, we eat, we die. We're totally subject to all the laws of biology, just like a tree or a bird. And yet, unlike any other animal, we know it. Our awareness lets us kind of step outside of ourselves, look back, and question our own existence. We can imagine futures that don't exist. It's like we're both in the painting and, at the same time, aware that we're looking at ourselves in the painting. This crazy duality is where all our problems and all our potential really begin.
And this is where it all comes together, this duality, this weird position we're in. It leads us straight to what Fromm called the core human dilemma. And this isn't some abstract philosophical problem. He saw it as the fundamental challenge every single one of us has to face, no matter where or when we live.
And you can see how this whole thing just snowballs, right? First, you have self-awareness. We know we exist as separate beings, and we're smart enough to know that one day we'll die. But then, because we're missing those strong instincts that tell other animals what to do, that awareness creates this deep, gnawing sense of anxiety and isolation. We feel adrift, And that feeling, that's what forces us into a lifelong quest, the search for meaning. So when you boil it all down, here's the fundamental problem that Fromm says is driving pretty much everything: human history, art, religion, all of it. The big question is, how do we escape this feeling of cosmic loneliness that our own consciousness created? How do we find a way to feel connected again to nature, to other people, and ultimately to ourselves? Okay, so we have this huge problem. Can we solve it? Well, this is where Fromm gets really interesting, because he was kind of a contradiction himself. He had this deeply pessimistic view on our chances, but at the same time, a profoundly optimistic one. You can almost see his split personality here. His pessimism was pointed squarely at society. He was pretty convinced that most people, sadly, fail to find that true connection. He was especially critical of modern capitalism, arguing it just makes us more isolated while selling us this fake idea of freedom. But his optimism was all about the individual. He truly believed that deep down, we all have this incredibly strong natural drive for health and happiness, and that even in a messed up system, some people can and do break through and reach their full human potential. And this quote, man, it really gets to the heart of his optimism. Even with all his sharp critiques of society, he never lost faith in our core nature. He believed we are naturally wired to strive for what's good. That potential is always in there, just waiting for a chance to come out. All right, so to really get a handle on Fromm's thinking, it helps to see where he lands on some of the big debates in psychology. It's kind of like his psychological compass. You'll notice he almost never takes an extreme position. He's all about finding that nuanced middle ground. So take a look. On free choice versus determinism, he said we're somewhere in the middle. We have freedom, but it has its limits. When it comes to what drives us, our past or our future goals, he leaned a bit more toward our purpose, our teleology. He gave more weight to our conscious mind than many psychoanalysts, but of course acknowledged the unconscious. And this last one is huge. While our biological uniqueness is the starting point, he believed our personalities are shaped far more by social and cultural forces. All right, let's wrap this up and bring it all home. Fromm's entire massive theory really hangs on this one central idea.
Our special place in the universe is both our greatest gift and our most profound challenge. And this is really the heart of it all, the big takeaway. Our incredible mind, the thing that makes us so special, is the very thing that creates this giant void. See, unlike every other animal, we aren't born with a map for how to live. We have to draw our own. Fromm had a name for this map, a frame of orientation, basically a worldview that helps you make sense of everything. And he said we also need an object of devotion, something bigger than ourselves to dedicate our lives to. Without those two things, he said, we're completely lost.
And that brings us right back to you, doesn't it? Because it's one thing to understand the theory, but it's another thing to live it. Fromm argued that every single one of us has to build our own philosophy, our own purpose, just to survive the basic anxiety of being human. So it's worth asking yourself, what's the map you're using to navigate your world? What's your object of devotion?